Welcome to Today at the Races Sunday post-stakes action day. Of course, we have the voice of Maryland, Dave Rodman, joining us. Dave, thank you so much for joining us here for this
Good
Sunday.
to be here on this chilly Sunday
Yes.
here at Laurel Park. It's been getting kind of chilly at night,
has.
but nice temps outside, a fast track, and cloudy skies for today's racing here at Laurel Park. And good card. I mean, I think kind of card where we may see some prices like we did yesterday.
We had a slew of prices, and you know where else might end up having a slew of prices is Rosecroft. Before we get into the card, we did want to highlight that there is a carryover, and that will be in race 10 on Monday, December 2nd. So that for that jackpot super high five. We'll talk about our jackpot. We have a carryover as well for our jackpot over here. But as you mentioned, Dave, taking a look at what we've got going on outside, just a bit nippy out.
Yeah, a little nippy this morning, but temperatures well above freezing now for sure. Going back to those long shots, I can't recall a day in all my years here when I've seen so many payoffs in the superfecta that paid for a dime, right? I mean, it was long shot after long shot. Once in a while you get that dime superfecta that pays a lot, like one or two people have it, but yesterday we had multiple 10-cent payoffs in the superfecta, and hopefully one of them was you.
Hopefully. We'll get right into it, talking with this first leg of the early pick 5 in this claiming 12-5 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won. 3 going a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratches in the 11 through the 15. David, you have the number 3 on top. Admit nothing. This is in the barn of Carlos Mencia. Michael Sanchez gets the call.
Yeah, I think with his speed coming out of that 7-furlong race behind Patient Capital, good effort finishing 4th there, he's going to be first over to show some early foot right up top. 4 races back, and that win for non-winners at 2. He was in a 3-way battle for the lead, Kelly. Kind of dropped back and then came again to win by daylight there, going the 1-turn mile. I'm expecting kind of the same trip today, perhaps even a little closer to the pace as what a hard man Fided likes to lag behind, and Mr. Jefferson as well. Not a whole lot of early foot, so he's kind of the closest speed horse to the rail in here, so I'm counting on him to try to take them all away. Number 9 is Formal Affair, got to toss his last effort around that first turn from post 9. He's got another outside draw today. He was caught out wide early, wide around the turn, had trouble in the race, toss a line through that, but he did beat a non-winners at 2 and a decent buyer number 2 races back. Now, I don't see as much maybe speed to his inside today, so with a good break, maybe I hope he won't be any more than 2-3 deep at the time they get to the 7 ace pole, and he can work out a little better trip today. Number 2, what a hard man Fided. He's been trying 2 and 3 races back behind Magical Monarch Speed there in the dance, so we'll see a little later on in the card. Those are 2 really, really good efforts here. He's got to get a little bit of a pace help in front of him today. Don't know if he's going to get a super quick pace, but he's a very honest horse who's been giving all. And number 1 here, Mr. Jefferson, down to the inside, blinkered up for his last 3 starts. What a hard man Fided and Academy Se Puedes. They both have beaten him, but with that inside draw today from post 12, the 12 hole to the old 1 hole, I think that factors him in the mix as well. You're going there with a Formal Affair, hoping for a better trip. And note, Toledo gets them out, right?
Absolutely. I think that's going to make a big difference here. 3-9-2-1 for Dave Rodman in the first race. As we go ahead to the second, and that also starts the early pick 4. No scratches here. Dave, you go with the number 8 on the outside in... Just scrolled past him. In More Salute, John Salzman Sr., Xavier Perez. Let's go ahead and take a look all the way back at Timonium, midway on the turn.
Yeah, this was his lone start at Timonium there, down to the inside as they moved to the far turn with less than a quarter of a mile to go. It was just a half-mile run. He drifted in a little bit at the start, finally got straightened up, and then kept trying. Now, we're going to continue to roll this race through the wire to the gallop out, and you'll see why I like him here. Okay, the winner, a little bit risky, but watch the gallop out, right? That was only a half mile. Here he goes, galloping out to the inside, a little bit risky. Good try there, I thought, and a lot of things to like about that debut run. 51, 53 buyers from Little Bit Risky in the next 2 races. 3rd place finisher out of there, Fear Nothing. One from Maiden 25, posting a 70 buyer figure. And even the last place winner, Bad Boy Blaze, who had an excuse in that race, came back to win next out with a 56 buyer. So a lot of not positives from a race at Timonium here. War Salute stretching from 4 to 6. And 9, Bright Charger, very honest behind Urban Symphony. We'll see that horse in the third race today if you want to look at his form, but a good effort, beaten in a photo behind Flashy Dude 3 races back. And then the 7 in here to look at, Enabler. Initially, really kind of liked this horse in the drop as he ran against Studley Do Right, of course, now stakes winning runner from the Jerry Robb barn. With this kind of layoff, not the best angle for the Tim Salzman barn. 0 for 9 with maiden sprint, maiden special weight down to maiden claiming, and coming off a time away since May as well. And number 2 is Speedy Alex. Jose Corrales, 2-year-old maiden claimers. Positive ROI. Anytime I see Corrales in a maiden claimer, I don't care what the form looks like. This horse has beaten what? 52 lengths in his last 2 starts here, but drops in for the 10. He's 9 for 53 with 2-year-old maiden claimers as Corrales with a $4.79 big return on investment and a 17% win percentage there. You see 3 back. Look at that. He was behind Tojo's Mojo. Fire Pit came back to break his maiden next time out with a nice 78 buyer number. I don't think anybody can run a 78 in this race, and though he was 7 lengths behind Fire Pit in that race, that number would put him right here over the top.
8972 for Dave Rodman there in race number 2. Race at number 3 is a claiming 20,000 for these 2-year-olds, going specifically 7 furlongs on this dirt. We're scratch in the 7 Bishop Mead. We are going to take a look at your top selection. Dave, that's going to be the number 4 on the outside. Bouillon, Sir Mick also in that same, in your exacta. Nope, not your exacta.
A horse who has flashed a little bit of talent from the get-go is Sir Mick. Buoyant in this race, couldn't get by him in the stretch. There's Sir Mick. He moved up, rushed up between horses using some energy, gradually got clear by the time they reached the far turn, challenged again inside, outside in the stretch, and turned him back, and they never really galloped out past him either. That's Buoyant on the outside there from the Brittany Russell barn. They'll face off again today, but he's in good form right now, and his old antics of trying to bear out and get out on the turn, those days seem kind of behind him. Sir Mick, I think, is in good form right now. The Salzman barn, good at this. When the horse gets in good form, they win, they can come back, and they can win again. You see 2 races back, beaten almost 30 lengths in a tough race there behind Do It For Michael, who was favored in the James Lewis Stakes most recently. So Sir Mick holding the form, hopefully. 5 Urban Symphonies, first off the claim. You look at Gina Perry's stat, first off the claim. It doesn't dazzle you in your daily racing form, but the barn has won first off the claim before. All horses like Targe or Chrysitude, you remember those 2, and they paid big prices too. This horse has experience at 7 furlongs, not once but twice, and that could be the key here. Finished 3rd at 7 Ace, broke the maiden at 7 Ace. The debut run was behind Right Wing Runner, a recent allowance optional, claiming 75,000 winner at Parks on Tuesday. So he could be something in this spot if they can get him just move up just a tick or so. His buyer number was just 3 points below Sir Mick's video there back on October the 24th. The 8, Flashy Dude from the Nest barn, second and not my first rodeo, going 2 turns, coming back to 7 furlongs today. Should be fit, got to improve buyer figure-wise, but at this age, they can certainly do that, right? At 2, and number 2, little bit risky. 3rd behind a horse named Saxton, 2 races back. 3rd next time out in the James Lewis Stakes in next run.
4582 for Dave Rodman there in race number 3. Race at number 4 starts at that Rainbow Pick 6. We do have a ticket lined up for you guys. If I could take a look at that ticket, that would be great. But race 4 does start in this maiden claiming 45. Oh, there we go. There's the ticket. 2 and 6 here is I go too deep here, but the race number 6, I single on the number 7. In Creed's Vision, coming in for Thomas Morley with Sheldon Russell on top, coming over. It ran at Laurel here last time out, ran considerably well. We'll get into that in the afternoon a little bit, but take it there. Let's go ahead and dive in to race number 4 in this maiden claiming 45, going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt for the 2-year-olds. No scratches in Edelweiss here in the number 4 for Lacey Gaudet. Dave, you go with the number 2 on top in Daddy Yankee. No video here, but Daddy Yankee was entered earlier this weekend and now re-enters here for today, this time with Kevin Gomez.
Yeah, I like the source on the stretch out, pedigree-wise and stat-wise. Let's look at the stat here for trainer Rudy Salomon. I believe that's our stat. Yeah, it is for today. Sprint to route the last 5 years. He's 37 for 196, 19%, and an ROI of $2.24. And if you're going to go down to just 2-year-olds, it's a pretty strong stat as well. So no matter which way you slice that stat, looks good. He came out his first time gelding here, last out November the 9th, finishing third behind Bjorn. The runner-up of that race, Crab Daddy, a horse to talk about there, won the $100,000 Pennsylvania Nursery at 12-1 as a maiden, clear by 3 3/4 lengths in his next start. So Daddy Yankee there is going to be my top pick of the day. We're going to look now at Roll On Jesse on video, and that is in the blue colors and the blue cap there. A solid second place finish. Last time he was on the dirt. We're back on the dirt. He's at 3 tries, 2 turf, 1 dirt. That was him finishing nicely behind That's Mr. Tap. I got him with a good number off of that race, perhaps maybe a little better than his buyer number would indicate in there. Number 3, Magical Mondays, is kind of an interesting horse in this spot, Collie. First Monday's gelding who drew in off the AEs as a first-time starter in a maiden special weight turf race going a mile to 16th. That's tough to do, right? You better be able to get tied on there from the 10-hole at that. He runs second in a strong effort, actually made the lead at the 8th pole there. 8th poler, as Clem Florio used to call him. But he's bred to like the dirt. He may not just be a turf horse. His Damn Magically Discreet was a 5-time winner on the dirt. 4 of those wins here at Laurel Park.
There we have it. There we have it. 2-7-3-5 for Dave Rodman there in race number 4. Race number 5 starts the late pick 5 as well. We had a nice pool that did end up hitting yesterday, but it does begin in this claiming 12-5. For the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won to, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt scratch, and the 2 scratch in the 7. Dave, you have the number 1 on top on the inside, and brother for Robbie Bales. Christian Maldonado gets the call.
I could be wrong here, Collie, but I think number 9, Beach Cowboy, is a vulnerable favorite, vulnerable morning line favorite. I didn't beat a whole lot last time out, certainly in this group where it looks like an open race. I think he's probably going to get a little bit more challenge on the pace than he had in that easy maiden score with not a whole lot behind him, and that pace challenge might come from the inside. Bruder Edric Robles gets the mount now on Bruder, who's entered, by the way, for a claiming price corrected of $10,000. I think the game is going to be try to go from the inside. Let's hope the inside maybe help him a little bit today with his early speed. You know, I think, I'm not sure whether he can track and close, but I think he can at least battle. He was in a contested pace last time out there in 22-3, 46-1, going 5.5. A little extra distance today, maybe a little bit easier on his 1/4 and half-mile fractions. He was 3 deep in the race and battled in Robbie Bales with 8 the 30-day layoff, according to Equibase Stats Race Lens, a near positive or slightly positive ROI as well. The last 2 years, dirt sprints for Robbie Bales, 10 for 48, 12%, and a positive ROI as well. So down inside there, I think he's going to have to just use his early speed.
Right, and I think he's up to the challenge here for today. You also go with the number 8 underneath. Win No Joke for Troy St. Jean Bursino, 12-1 morning line, potential value there.
He's tried everything, turf and dirt, you know, but he often is the runner-up or just picks up a share, runs third. But you got to like the race 2 back behind Laddie Dance on the turf. That horse 21-1 winner yesterday, right? Here at Laurel Park. 4 races back behind Chaplin on the dirt, who has come back to run, ironically, a big turf number since then. Yes. So he's a hard-trying horse. He's going to get a decent pace set up in here. And other than that, I went to the 12, put the pass behind with the Maurici barn going so strong the last 21 days. Diane Maurici stable. 8 for 16 the last 21 days and a positive return on investment of $3.88. The barn's won with layoffs of this type before. He's got some good numbers, although on the Wayback Machine, even before the claim for Gerald Brooks, before moving into the Maurici barn. But they've given him time away. And the way the barn's going right now, you got to look at everything it seems that they send out. And number 5 is Twice Gold, a horse who just may fall into the spot today. If the pace is quick enough, The stat layoff for Kenny Boss, 180 days plus, doesn't really shine, but he's come back with a bullet workout since the rest December of last year, and he could fall into a good trip today. Twice gold with Toledo up, I believe, there
Yes.
in race number 5.
Yep, Toledo with twice gold, 1-8, 12-5 for Dave Rodman there for the first leg of the late pick 5. We will be right back after this commercial break. Thanks for sticking with us. We are here at the Jackpot Super High 5, and we do have a bit of a nice carryover. Going to be well on its way to $8,000 at least by the time we get to race number 6, and it also starts the late pick 4 as well, and it does begin in this maiden claiming 45, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 2-year-olds. Scratching the 13 Hot Stot. You go with the number 2 on the inside in Jack Jim Jane
I know,
for John Salzman Jr. Gene Brasino. That's perfect.
John Jack Jim J.
With John and Gene.
All right,
Yes.
with David and Collie. Okay, we got Gene Brasino up on a first-time start or divining rod gelding. Out of parade of colors. That alerts you right away that he might be all right. It's a half brother to Our Nation on Parade, of course, $569,000 winner, 110 of 39 lifetime. I went back to that work, back November 2nd here at Laurel Park, a minute 1, 2/5, third best of 12 that day. That was the same clocking, a minute 1, 2/5 as another Sullivan runner, Sabra Song, who was third yesterday, and that horse has speed. So I'm assuming that John Jack Jim J has some kind of early speed, but being the half to Our Nation on Parade, he'll certainly want 6+ furlongs, right?
Yeah.
Maybe to do his best running. So I think he's okay here, given the pedigree. I'm going to take a little shot with him here on the pedigree and the workout. 6, Bernie the Star, is a little more experience than the other runners in this spot. 5th behind Yara's Quest, who was a $300,000 Liam's Map colt that looked good in winning there on November the 16th. And 2 back, finished third behind one man team who accounted for 6 of the 7 beaten lengths there behind Bernie the Star, who rushed up, didn't rush up, but prompted a good pace, dueled in the pace that day, 22, 346 and 2. So he's got some experience behind him. He's running into 2 decent horses in his first 2 runs. A 12 outside, almost picked this colt on top, if not for the outside draw. He too has plenty of experience, turf and dirt, and a runner-up 3 times in his career. Brittany Russell's 28% with 2-year-olds 30 to 60 days away. We don't need to tell you about that barn, right? Pulling away in the trainer's standings. And a good effort behind Amy's Music there and finishing third at 5.5. The good thing about him is even though he's got an outside draw, and there may be speed to the inside of him with the likes of Bernie the Star, and who knows if John Jack Jim J has early speed or any of the other firsters in this spot, is it looks like he can settle and make a little bit of a run from his last race.
I prefer him on the outside, so I think that's going to be great. You also go with the number 7, Creed's Vision, Tom Morley, Sheldon Russell. You have this one underneath here, but put in a good flashy effort last time out.
Yeah, it was a strong start. He picked up momentum about the quarter pole in that race. He was closing in on a 21-1 winner that day, and who says so? But that horse had come off of a 36 buyer number. So the winner was 21-1, a long shot. You know, he needs to get tied on a little bit today, but I like the way he finished. And those Jimmy Creeds, they can run short, long, turf, dirt, anything. Good effort there from the Morley colt in Creed's Vision.
2-6, 12-7 for Dave Rodman there in race number 6. Race at number 7 starts Dave's late pick 3 ticket. What do you got for us?
All
Woo,
right.
love it.
I would usually do a pick 5. Then I was thinking I'll do a pick 4 because a pick 5's too tough. And then said, you know what? This last 3 races, they're wide open too.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to spend $24. Do have a favorite or so in there, but I think if we can get a nice long shot in the 7th race, you did 5, 6, 8, 11, 8th race, 6, 7, and 9, a 9th race, a firster for Brittany Russell is probably going to take some play there. 1, 2, 3, and 9. And I hope I have all the numbers right. Yeah, I do. After the scratches on
Yes.
the 9th, I had to redo that ticket there. So there it is, $24 for the late pick 3.
And it does begin here in a claiming 40,000 for these 2-year-old girls going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratch in the 2, you know when you know. You go with the number 8, Thunder in Paris on the outside here. Jean Bursino gets the call here. Could potentially come up at a price of 5 to 1 in the morning line.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm talking about, right? You've got 9, 4, 5, 3. I have 8, 11,
Exactly.
6, and 5.
Exactly.
This race is kind of a scramble in here, but I'm taking a little chance here with number 8, Thunder in Paris, who comes off a 20-length drubbing there behind Days, who looked like going to be just any kind of horse, really, for the Brittany Russell barn. So there was no run that day, first after the layoff, but if she can come back to the debut run at Pimlico, behind no question about it, she can make a late impact in this race, or perhaps I think maybe a little closer to the pace second after the layoff. Days, by the way, the horse that beat her by 20 lengths, was 2 to 5 in that shot, and then favored in the Smart Halo Stakes. Didn't win, but got a lot of respect off of that lengthy score over Atlantis Queen and Winsome Cat and the 20 lengths beaten top pick here in Thunder in Paris. How about another long shot? Number 11, Nick's Notion. I think it's going to sit a good trip today. Let's go back to the video, October the 4th here at Laurel Park. Horse stumbled at the start. There you go, circled, boom, a little stumble bobble at the beginning. Settled off the pacemakers in the early stages of the race. Then about the quarter pole, got interested a little bit, started to run on. While under a bit of a drive, and then was kind of looking over to the Laurel grandstand there. So give you the appearance maybe that this horse is still learning a little bit. He's got some speed in front of him. He chugs along there to get up to win as the Duelers went ahead of him. But it looks like the 6 furlongs will be just right for him. Again, beaten by Malibu Hooch with trouble last time out. The turf experiment didn't work. But going back to that maiden score, maiden special, October 4th, you saw on video, that could be enough to put her over the top here at a big price, or at least 1-2 in here. I'm using her in exactas for sure.
Well, let's talk about Rue de Mazeltov, Brittany Russell with Kevin Gomez. Kevin Gomez riding well typically when he gets on for Brittany Russell here. We return back to the dirt.
It's first blinkers on the dirt.
Right.
That's my angle.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Broke maiden at Meadowlands on the turf with the blinkers. Journeyed up to Presque Isle with a Tapeta try. Beaten 2 3/4 of a length with the blinkers on. Comes back to the dirt. Only dirt try. Well beaten at Timonium, right? But the blinkers seem to have turned her around. Will she like the dirt? Probably so, given the pedigree. So I'm using her in the mix as well.
Absolutely.
You know, it's one of those horses she's either going to really, really love it and excel a little bit, improve on the dirt, or not. And we really don't know. It's
Right.
his first time blinkers on the grass. In my memories, a Simoff shipper in here. Doesn't really need to take her track with her. We'll see if she can appreciate the move to Laurel Park. She's run well at all tracks she's run at, Delaware and Monmouth, particularly Delaware. The third place finisher in her last start and breaking up maiden there. And breaking in second after the maiden was Peaching Us, who came back to run a 60 buyer at Penn National in a non-winners at 2. 60 buyer would project in my memories right in the mix today. She's already run faster than that, speed figure-wise, 2 back.
8:11.65 for Dave Rodman there in race number 7 in his first leg of his late pick 3. We'll go ahead to our feature race of the day here in race number 8. This is a restricted allowance going a mile, second wire finish here on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the 3, Jazeel, you go with the number 9 in the dance on the outside. This is, of course, for Jerry Robb. Xavier Perez looking for that come-uppance from last time.
At the one-turn mile, I think this is a specialty for in the dance, right? The turn back to the mile might be the key here. Evenly paced in the stretch while saving ground last time out behind Brother Brad. Before that, did win at about mile and an eighth. But I think the horse is going to be a little more effective with some speed in front of him. A Blue Kingdom and possibly Derbiness. The pace should be honest, hoping for In the Dance to drop over from that outside, let them go on with it, settle, and either make a run inside or between or whatever opening develops there. Really, I think the horse to beat on the turn back from the Jerry Robb barn. Let's take a look at 7, Whiskey in the Jarro, a horse who had chased, liked it 84-1, 2 races back in this video here on the turf, but now trying the dirt. Important. I mean, he's won in the dirt. He broke his maiden on the grass, Callie. That was before Lasix. And after that layoff from February to October, this is the first race back on the layoff, and I know it was on the grass, showed a lot of stamina in trying to kick late here and beating only a length and 3/4 in the blue colors, coming there at 80-something to 1. And another good effort, beaten less than a length behind Hank's Divining Rod while wide on both turns. I still believe he's going to like the dirt here in this spot. First time Lasix on the dirt since his turnaround in form.
Right. Absolutely. Well, talk about Blue Kingdom there for Benny Feliciano Jr. with Gene Avello here in the tag.
Well, how about Ben Feliciano? Last 60 days, he's popped with 17-1 winner, a 35-1 winner. This horse has always had some talent. He's a little bit quirky. They added the blinkers on him, and he still runs a little bit in spots from what I've seen, but he's always kind of right there. His numbers are good. He was just behind Derbiness last time out. I think he'll be part of the pace this afternoon. He'll get a good, strong showing here pace-wise in the 8th. 9, 7, 6, and 8. I guess Derbiness may go favored, right? The Brittany Russell
probably.
barn in the spot.
Yep.
That's your top pick.
I'm bandwagoning it. Yep.
Well, a bullet worked since the last.
Yes, it looks good. So things look good, but I like the prices that you do go for here, especially with the Benny Feliciano pick there. Dave Rodman, 9-7-6-8. Race number 9, we're going to end this weekend with a maiden claiming 20,000 going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 2-year-olds. Scratching the 6, scratching the 8. You go with the rail horse as well as I do. Bud's Island, Brittany Russell with Javian Toledo.
Yeah, I mean, after the 6 scratched, and then I thought the possibility of the 8, who was a couple of runners that both won early in their career, really was kind of at a loss as to what to do in here. Finally kind of defaulted to the 1, a full brother to Russell doing things from the Brittany Russell barn, I believe it was, who won first time out from maiden 40, though a Maryland bred was in for the waiver, and ran a 60-plus buyer number. I think it was a 67 buyer number. That would be good enough to win here. So the Dame Coronaise by Golden Lad. Golden Lad's only 10% with first-time starter 2-year-olds, but none of the other runners to his outside who have experience have dazzling on numbers. Number 2, Fin d'Oro, is one of the first-time geldings in this spot. I know Keith does like General Maximus. That was his value play.
Okay.
He specifically told me to mention that one.
Sounds good.
And also Little Lance in the 8th race is
we'll
his value
mention
play.
that. We'll mention that in the
but
afternoon.
Fin d'Oro, a little bit awkward early last time out. He may just be a different animal today as a first-time gelding. A debut, he ran into Say Me True, who was second recently at Allowance Company behind Septarian. General Maximus, another first-time gelding, but Maximum Security, second, good effort in debut, so he's shown a flash of brilliance there, or at least some kind of run. Content to rate and maybe stalk the leaders just as he did in the debut run. He angled out in that race and kind of didn't really carry on. He kind of rebid inside and then flattened out a little bit. So he's going gelding, first-time gelding today, 1, 2, 3. And outside the 9, a line, another first-time gelding. Pick your choice here from the Phil Schoenthal barn from turf to dirt. You see the belatedly comment, 2 back at Laurel in a race taken off the turf, moved to the dirt. He was even at the upper portion of the stretch and had some mild late interest in the race on the outside. Not a real strong gallop out, but again, this could change first time gelding today. You got your choice, don't you? Fin d'Oro, General Maximus, Align, all FTG.
Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 9 for Dave Rodman there in the last. Thank you so much, Dave. Let's actually dive a little bit deeper to your best bet in your value play. Starting off with a value play in race number 2 on the number 8, War Salute for John Salzman Sr. and Xavier Perez there. Also starts the early pick 4 in race number 2.
Yeah, if you missed it earlier, a good race at Timonium, galloped out with the winner in that race, broke a little bit toward the inside that day. And half mile, he was just getting going late, and there have been a couple of winners out of that race, including a last place finisher, third place finisher out of that race, and the last place finisher. Fear Nothing, Bad Boy Blues, 2 winners out of that race.
Your best bet comes in race number 4 on the number 2, Daddy Yankee. That also starts the Rainbow Pick 6 here with Rudy Sanchez Solomon. Kevin Gomez gets the call.
Oh, yeah, revisiting that race, forgot to mention the Sire American Freedom is 17% dirt routes, and he's stretching 4.5, 7 now to 1.16 as a second-time gelding in a really, really strong effort. Looms strongly in mid-stretch in his last race. The runner-up in there, Crab Daddy, popped to win the Pennsylvania Nursery by open daylight lengths at 12-1 as a maiden. So I think a strong race he's coming out of there, Daddy Yankee.
Absolutely. Let's finish up with your last value play of the day in race number 7 on the number 11, Nick's Notion, in the barn of Robbie Bales. Torrealba with the call.
Right. That's the race where we're kind of all over the map, right?
Right, yes.
I mean,
yes.
And
one of the races.
It's just really, this filly's got any one of them really with a good trip can be there at the line. I'm going to go with Nick's Notion, though. I like the dirt race back October the 4th. The second, third place finishers came back to win, stumbled at the start there, just learning the ropes, kind of looked over to the Laurel grandstand, even with the blinkers on. I think he'll be grinding to the outside. Yesterday, the outside was okay. I'm not worried about that 11 post, especially with some speed down to her inside today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave, so much. Wanted to recap the stakes that we had yesterday. Of course, the Safely Kept was dominated by Ronan Goddess there for Torrealba with Hammy Smith.
Yeah, a good effort here from Ronan Goddess, who sat a really, really nice trip. Dazzling Move was 6-5. That's a horse in the orange cap. I don't know. She's a better horse than that. I'll say that right now, right? I mean, she was inside down the backstretch, kind of dueling, kind of took off with the rider. I don't know what the deal with that was. Just kind of just said, I'm going as quick as I can.
Right.
And Ronan Goddess got a good trip, a really nice filly in her own right there for Men's Grill Racing and Hammy Smith.
Also wanted to discuss the City of Laurel Stakes, of course, repeating or taking a look at that effort. Of course, Winterfell bringing home the title.
And?
King of the North.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the call, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm still watching Singing in the Rain, and you're watching, what show is that?
Well, Game of Thrones. It's a season. It's a series that's over. But as you can see, just a nice. They knew, talking with Brittany after the race. I mean, they did question a little bit, but the horse has been in such good form. Not going to fight with it.
This horse reminds me. You remember Doppelganger?
Yes.
Right. This horse reminds me of Doppelganger. So maybe some bigger and better things. I think he went on to win a Grade 1 a few months later.
Yes.
So maybe they've got another good sprinter on their hands here in King of Winterfell.
In Winterfell, yeah.
I'm going to call him King of the North.
I'm fine with that, and I'm sure the pop culture reference will be appreciated by those who understand it as well. Thank you so much, Dave. I'll get offset. We will let Dave take it away with some more changes and scratches here for Sunday's card.
Good luck.